Thank you guys again that are subscribers of the channel. I appreciate your subscription, and a lot of you guys are never watching a lot of these videos. But we're going to do a real quick drive in this car after I've done some of the upgrades. And I'm going to go over real quick on the motor, the stuff that we did the other day. So, and I'm going to give you guys a high-speed drive with the caster shims in, and I'm going to tell you, it's just so much more stable. So anyway, let's talk about the motor stuff. Remember, I drove this thing, I was smelling some hydrocarbons, and I had a 120 main jet in here. It was a 117 that was in it, but it was actually, we checked it with a sizer and it was sized out at 120, so somebody's already drilled it once. And we didn't have a 122 main jet or drill size for that, so we went to a 125. I drove it. It was better. It didn't stink anymore, got rid of the hydrocarbon smell, but I felt that it was probably a little too rich, because I couldn't smell anything on the exhaust. So I was telling me that it was running cleaner, or running less lean misfire, which is telling me that I've got it closer to where I need to go. And then so we dropped it back to a 122 main jet, and I was going up the same hills that I was going before, and I must have picked up maybe 2 or 3 horsepower. And that's because these are straight piped, so we think we got a little bit more less restriction there, versus having the mufflers on there. These are basically just tubes that were cut, stainless tubes. I bought some stainless tubing, cut it, put them on there, and it gives it a little less restriction on the exhaust. So I think that helped a little bit, along with, and made me able to get a little bit bigger main out of the engine. So which if you're able to run a larger main, that's telling you that there's more air going through the engine. Typically, if it was jetted right before, and you upped your main because you did something to your engine, that means you probably got a little more juice somewhere. So I probably picked up another 2 horsepower out of this thing, and that makes a big difference when you have 36 horse motor. So I noticed when I went up the same hills I was going up before, I was actually catching up to traffic from even before, when I had the 120 main, and after when I had the 125 main. So anyway, getting the jetting right really does help your power. If you're wanting to get as much out of your 36 horse as you can, really get that jetting dialed in. Remember the old saying, lean is mean. So if it's too rich, then you're going to lose some power. But if it's too lean, then you're going to burn the motor up. So you want to try and lean it up to the point where it's not too lean, but it's rich enough to run. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take a drive in this thing, get up to speed, stay tuned, and we'll see how that goes. So according to Radwell, the 36 horsepower crash box actually is supposed to have a taller 4th gear, so it's supposed to have a 0.79 4th gear with a 437 ring and pinion, and in the later models it's a 0.89, or it says 0.79 and 0.89, so that's quite a bit of difference. So it should be able to cruise on the freeway at a higher speed theoretically, but I don't know. I'm not going to gamble on that. I'm not going to tell you guys to do that, but that's the theory, and let's just see how it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and up here, I'm going to go up to a freeway that I know shouldn't have that much traffic on it, so I can get up to speed, because a lot of this, it takes so long to get up to speed in this car, but once you get up there, it stays pretty good, especially with the caster shims. So we'll see how that goes. It should be really nice and stable at 70, even if I can get it up there, but it's going to take me a while. Right, so we're getting on the freeway here. One hand and just barely touching the steering wheel. Approaching 70 right now. Been on the floor for a while here. It's about top speed for this car. But it's very stable. A lot more than it was. We got maybe 72. Just a little off. But, you know, I'm wandering a little bit in the lane. That's probably the Chinese tires in that truck up ahead. But before, if I was going this fast, it would be like major speed wobbles, big time. So the caster shims really help with that stability at higher speed by giving you that centering of your steering wheel, and before it was like you could feel the wheel walking in your hands. I mean, the car's still a little bit squirrely compared to my Jetta, but yeah, I'm not on the floor anymore, but I was for a long time. I mean, I could probably creep it up to 75, but that's about it. But according to Ratwell, it's supposed to be at a lower RPM, but I don't know. It doesn't really seem like it. Maybe a little bit. Got to put the camera down here. Got these little things I just wanted to mention is I've never owned a VW that had a crash box in it. We used to yank them out as soon as we saw them in there because they, you know, they just weren't as strong as the other trannies, and nobody liked that crash box first gear. So, and we used to always put bigger motors in them. So, you know, the gearing on the crash box is supposed to be different, apparently, but I don't know. I can't really tell you for sure from driving it. It feels like it is, but it's not. Doesn't feel that. It doesn't feel as significant as it should be, because it's supposed to have a 360 final drive, which is taller than a 388. And that doesn't make sense the way I'm driving it. It doesn't feel like it. One thing I wanted to mention is I had 36 horsepower bugs with the same transmission as a 40 horse, and I don't know, I didn't really notice that much in having a 40 horse in one, 36 horse in another one. People go, oh, the 36 horsepower is a lot slower, and honestly, I have never noticed that. I always thought they were about the same. Maybe the 36 horse had more torque and less, you know, and less horsepower. Maybe, you know, I'm not really sure. But to me, they both felt super slow and about the same. So if you guys are, you know, considering going that direction or something like that, it might help you get a feel for it. Talk to you. All right, so because I'm just going to spin around and go the other way. I do notice just a little bit more wandering in the rear that I didn't notice before. It's because my front was wandering so much that the rear wasn't, which it could be the alignment's a little off in the rear. It could be that I don't think we checked the spring plate stuff. What are they called? You can put the neoprene ones in, but that helps a little bit. And the rear spring plates, the rubber was really in good shape on those, so I don't think it might be that they're just a little bit worn, but it probably is because it's lowered in the rear. So I can't believe I used to drive so fast when I was younger. I just completely had balls. That's all I can tell you. If I would go, I used to drive 85 all the time. Gotta watch out for the CHP. They're everywhere right now. Anyway, yeah, I used to drive 85 all the time when I was younger. 80, 85, and I took that bug up to 105. I still can't believe I did that. I mean, squirrely as these cars are, at higher speeds, it's kind of crazy, but it really drives nice at 70 now. It's not bad. I mean, it's still a little, like I said, it's still a little bit squirrely compared to how a new car is, but a lot better than this old thing was before. And I'm not afraid to pass a truck now. So it does help quite a bit with keeping your steering centered. It accelerates up to 70, 72, 75. You're going to get around this truck. Yeah. Got a CHP up ahead. I don't want to catch it. Alright, so that's it. The stable cruise with the caster shims. It's kind of hard to do the video and drive, but there's traffic, so that's why I had to kind of wait for the right time. Talk to you next video. Please like, share, and subscribe.